Hi, my name is Ashley Carrillo, and I am here to talk about my reaction to the article Body Ritual Among the Narkemia by Horace Minor. And I'm also going to be sharing how American communicates and how it's changed throughout history and how I believe it's beneficial to the U.S. culture. So, my reaction when I had read the article Body Ritual Among the Narkemia, I was extremely fascinated and did not realize that it was talking about the American culture. And so as I read through this article and read how this culture culture is in between Canada and Mexico, I was like, where is this? And I was literally trying to picture like where can this culture literally be located? And so I read this whole article with the belief that this is a real culture today. Well, it is because it's American, but I didn't know that. And I was kind of like, because when it talked about the gums bleeding and the jaw shivering and stuff, I was like, what are they doing? And it sounded so scary. I'm going to say it, it sounded like a cult, and even they called it like the holy mouth man and witch doctors. Like, I'm just reading this article and I'm like, where are these people from? Like, where are they located, and how is there a culture that's functioning like this? And so because of my amusement and my just being really like, wow, I went to Google because I wanted to see what do these people look like, and I wanted to know more. Well, I Googled, and it turns out that narkemia was just American spelt backwards. So then I went back to the article, and now having in mind that this is American culture and reading about the dentist and the details of it, gums bleeding, I was like, oh, they need to floss. I'm just kidding. But it did, where I was just like, oh, this is about us. And my amusement, it got me to call my mom, and I said, hey, so have you heard of the narkemia culture? And she was like, no, where are they from? And I was like, well, let me tell you about them. And I ended up sharing with my mom. And yeah, I really enjoyed that article, and just the aspect of I am reading about us, America. So yeah, that was my reaction, and yeah, I even went to my social media about it. But so what I want to talk about now is American culture about today. And one thing that I notice is how us Americans have freedom in our communication, and it shows. Americans, we are very confident. We're confident. We're um, very expressive, and we ask questions. Like, we're very comfortable to ask questions when things are not clear to us, or we want to have better understanding. And so there's other things like we're very informal. Us Americans are very informal. We don't say Mr. Perez. We say, hey, Paul. And Mr. Perez could be our teacher. Mr. Perez could be our our boss, and here we are addressing them by their first name. And that is something that has changed throughout history, is the informalness of America. um Back then, which I can't say for me because I'm only 34, but I'm saying in history, it was formal to say Mr. and Miss, or ma'am and sir, to address the older generation. But here today, we're just like, dude, bro, are saying them by their first name, um, or not even saying their name at all. Maybe just professor, teacher, you know? And so we're very informal, and we're confident, and we're funny. We have a sense of humor that we don't mind making jokes of ourselves, things we've gone through, and just being very vocal about it. We're loud. We're we're loud, whether it's excitement or expressing We're just naturally loud. Um, and then someone's probably like, well, what about the introverts? They're loud too. I'm just kidding. No, but we are loud. And then I am sharing all this that I've listed of communication, of being confident and questioning, because from an outside perspective, it's like, why would you ask? Or how could you ask, But it's because we have that confidence of, I don't understand it, so I'm gonna ask. Or did they just say Paul? Isn't that their boss? Like, isn't that Mr. Perez? And it's like, yeah, but that's Paul, you know? And other cultures, I believe, and I know that they still address with respect. And it's not that we're being disrespectful either. It's just that Americans have become so comfortable in our freedom of language that we don't mind saying, "Hey, Paul, I need Tuesday off," instead of "Sir, Mr. Perez." And I say that I know that because in the Philippines, I have family there, and um, to talk to an elder, you use po at the end. So if I was to say thank you to an elder, I would say salamat po. And so I want to highlight what Nina Averson says about Americans is that we do speak in higher voices, and that we just have emotional outbursts. Like if we are having either a party or we received good news, it's not something that we know how to just be like, oh, but we're like, oh, you got engaged. Oh my gosh, you're having a baby. We're just really loud, and it's not a bad thing. And that's what I want to end with is the beneficial of being an American who communicates freely. So I believe it does benefit the US culture because um, we really are the land of the free. We are confident, we are expressive, and we're allowed to be. We don't agree on a lot of things, but it's okay, meaning if there's a political stance or just whatever is going viral in America, when we take our stance, like we have that freedom to be so vocal about it and so out loud. And I think that's beautiful because not everyone has that where they can express how angry they are because of a president who won, or express how excited they are because they got a raise. And that's another thing, as Americans are we like to brag. And I don't think that's a bad thing. And um, I do see it as beneficial because America has come a long way to be where we're at, to be able to have the freedom we have. And I think that's beautiful. And my time is up. So this is my conclusion on how I reacted to the narkemia culture, why I think being an American is pretty awesome because we don't realize how blessed we are to be able just to be expressive. Um, and I think it's beneficial because it's showing that our voices and who we are as people, it matters. And of course, people around the world, they matter too, but they don't have the freedom that we have to show.